In this video, we will be learning about the spell check, the grammar check, the dictionary, the thesaurus, and how to use word to give a word count. Notice first of all that I am on the tab that says Review, so that's where you should be when you want to do a spell check. It's important that you always proofread your work before you turn it in, and one of the first things that you can do to help proofread your work is to use the spelling and grammar check built into Word. I want to go over here to where it says ABC check spelling and grammar. You'll notice in my document, first of all, I have a couple different words that are underlined in red. When something is underlined in red, it is Microsoft Word telling you that it thinks those words are spelled incorrectly. There are other times that words may be underlined in green or blue. Blue is when Microsoft Word thinks that there is a usage error, and green is a grammar error. So we're going to go ahead and do the spelling check and grammar, and now it takes us to the first underlined word. I know that this is spelled correctly. It's a proper noun. The dictionary might not know this word because it is someone's name, and it's not a common name, at least in this part of the world. So what we can do at this case is, first of all, if you'll notice over here under spelling, Microsoft is trying to give us some suggestions. There are words that are already in the dictionary, and it thinks, well, maybe this is a typo and you want to use one of these words. So I've got a couple different things that I can do. First of all, I can say ignore, which means if I click on ignore, what it's going to do is it's going to take the red off, and it's going to just ignore that word in this case, which means that if this name were used later in the paper, it would still be underlined red. If I say ignore all, that means it's going to ignore that word in the entire document. If I say add, which I just did, what I'm telling Word is, I know that word is correct. I'm actually adding it to the dictionary. So from now on, when it comes up, it will actually be marked as correct. And I will do the same thing with the word Delosha. Now, when you go to do the spelling check, you might have to install a dictionary. And if you need to install a dictionary, you want to click on Webster's. And I can go through these. If it is a word that I know I have a simple typo, so for example, I'm going to mark this word harmless here. Now, notice this is an intentional typo. I misspelled that on purpose. And what Word is doing is it's making a suggestion. And what I can do is I look at that and I say, oh, that was a typo. So I can click on harmless and I can click on change. And when I click on change, it will change that word to this one, that spelling. Now, if I have harmless misspelled multiple times in the document, I can always say change all, and it will fix all of them. You can see this is from Webster's. It also gives me a definition of the word. I can even hear it.
Harmless.
Okay? So that, in a nutshell, is how to use the spell check. I'm going to go through these, and it only found spelling errors. If there were grammar errors, what it would do is it would take you to a similar interface, and it would make suggestions to your grammar, and you can either accept the changes or ignore the changes, just like your spelling. One other thing that's nice about this is that notice when I click on a word like bacteria, what if I'm reading this word or this passage and I don't know what the word bacteria means? I can come up here, I'm still on the Review tab, I can go over to Define, and it will look it up in the Webster's Dictionary, and here it says bacterium, alright, and it will give a definition. So let's see if I looked up cavity. right? It gives me a definition. Something else that's nice, and remember, if you don't have a dictionary, you may have to install a dictionary. It will ask you, it will give you a choice, at least on mine, it gave me a choice of 3 dictionaries. I picked the Webster's Dictionary. Something else, and maybe you're familiar with this type of book, maybe you're not, it's a good time to learn, is what's called a thesaurus. It sounds like a dinosaur, but it is not. It's actually a type of a book. And what it does is it gives you words that are synonyms. Synonyms are words that mean the same thing as others. So, for example, let's say that you are writing a story and you want to say, you're trying to describe something as being pretty, that it was a pretty day outside. But you know that your teacher is looking for you to use different words and to grow your vocabulary, and you used pretty in the previous sentence. It would be a good time to pick a different word that kind of meant the same thing as pretty, a synonym. So what I'm going to do, what we would do is we would click on pretty, and then I can come up here to the thesaurus, and when I click on that, look what it's going to do. It's going to give me some suggestions, okay? The usage of the word pretty as an adjective. So I can say it was an attractive day outside, it was a beautiful day outside, it was a sweet, a lovely. The one that I'm going to go with is beautiful. So if I click on it, it will give me more adjectives. And what I want to do is just replace it with beautiful. Notice down here in the lower left-hand corner, it gives us the word count as well. Hope that made sense, and I hope you're able to use this information.